Good day, everybody. Today I want to talk to you about how I've come to find out or theorize that Boba Fett actually likes Han Solo. So it all starts pretty much with Dengar and Ig-88, the assassin droid. They're actually trying to hunt down Solo in the events of The Empire Strikes Back. And so Ig-88 and Dengar are having this conversation where they've come to find out that Boba Fett has been given out wrong intelligence, wrong intel, or coordinates of where Han Solo is. But with them being smarter than Boba Fett, they've come to find out and get the real coordinates through a whole bunch of sublogs in the bounty hunter's computer. And so they set out to find Han Solo in some wreckage of an old Imperial battle versus the rebels out in the Outer Rim. And out there, they are discussing how there's nothing out here. There's no way they can scan for Han Solo. There's no reason to even be out there. But Dengar, in his, wise mind, says, hey, let's just scan anyway. Let's see if we can find them. They're in an old ship. There's a lot of things that we can scan for. I'm not scanning necessarily for Han Solo himself, mainly just the ship and its heat signature. And out there, while they're scanning, they do find a YT-1300 freighter. And so they chase him down through the debris field, and a woman's voice comes across the intercom telling them to leave her and her ship alone. And Dengar, being the man that he is, says, hey, your time is up, Han Solo, give it up, we will catch up to you, it's over, surrender. And so they do catch up to this ship via an ion blast. They disable it and board the ship. And in this moment we see, Ig-88 and his mastery assassin skills just come out. There's a lot of smoke and everything around, and in this moment, Dengar brings out his flame blade. And a lot of people in the galaxy refer to this, being only second to Vader and his red lightsaber. This is the only thing that they're more scared of besides Vader and his lightsaber. And so while Dengar's distracting the guards on the ship, Ig-88 slips behind him and just takes out half a dozen of guards instantly, very quickly, with little, effort. And this woman says, hey, hold up here. We're just running, some sabacc tables. We're not doing anything. My boss will be very upset. And in this moment, Dengar has it click in his head that, hey, this lady paid off some Imperial officers to basically forget about these debris yards, because normally they would clean up this area and send it, to a scrapyard to be broken down. And maybe, like Braca or something like that. And so he's like, hey, you must work for somebody very powerful. You said your boss. And this is where it clicks that she must work for one of the Hutt clans. And Dengar says to Ig-88, hey, these aren't the enemies you want to make. But Ig-88, not realizing and always trying to be better than everybody else, because he feels that way, says, these are the enemies I want to make. Because to him, he feels or thinks in his little circuits that by having these enemies, it'll push him to be better and better than everybody else. And so with that in mind, Ig-88 gets ready to blast everyone to smithereens. But this lady aboard the ship says, hey, I have a whole bunch of Beskar armor, just in my cabin. Why don't I get it for you and you guys leave me alone? And Dengar and Ig-88 come to grips and say, hey, yeah, sure, let's take the Beskar and leave. And in this moment, when they're leaving, they realize that Boba Fett has actually fooled them, has actually put decoy ships in his own database, in the bounty hunter's database, to fool them. So they actually didn't find the right coordinates. They were given dummy coordinates. And with this, Ig-88 says to Dengar, it doesn't matter that we found Solo or not. This bounty is worth a lot, and with this information we have in the future, these people in the ship that we just boarded will be people we can track down. So we will get there one day to Solo. So our agreement of being together till we find Solo is still on board. It's still a go. And in this moment, it's very apparent to IG-88 that he wants Dengar around to basically talk himself down out of situations like that. Because if Dengar wasn't there, IG-88 would have just shot everybody up and just left everything alone and just, went on his way to find Solo somehow. And with this in mind, Dengar knows now that he needs IG-88 around as muscle, and they can only get to Solo together. But then after they find Solo, they both will basically have a fight to the death. And in the end of this chapter, Dengar tells IG-88, hey, this Beskar armor is something very valuable to Boba Fett. He wears Mandalorian armor, so maybe we can bribe Boba Fett to give us the actual coordinates of Solo's whereabouts. And this is where the chapter ends in this book that I've been reading. I have found that through this chapter, Boba Fett actually seems to like Solo. He's trying to keep every bounty hunter away from Solo so that maybe he can find Solo himself. Maybe he can take care of himself and get some sort of vendetta out of the way that he has. Maybe he actually likes Solo as a friend and wants him to be around for the betterment of the universe. Maybe from every past event that he's gone through, from his dad dying in front of him and everything that has to do with Luke and Anakin and everything, maybe he has a soft spot for Han Solo. I don't really know. This is more of just a theory that I have. This theory came about from reading the Empire Strikes Back from a Certain Point of View book. It's a very good book. I hope you all read it and enjoy it. It's something that I've come to enjoy reading and like making videos about. I hope you guys stay tuned and stick around for the next one. I hope you guys all have a good day, and may the Force be with you.